On a chilly Thursday morning here in the capital of Alabama, we welcome you into an exclusive broadcast of Southern States Athletic Conference Men and Women's Soccer Championships here on the SSAC Sports Network. Women's soccer will kick things off here. We're excited to welcome you guys in. Match day number 2 of our 3-day tournament here. Tim Wilson alongside yours truly, Wade Neely. Tim, the teams that won at their host sites advanced to our neutral site location here tonight, the gorgeous Emory-Folmar YMCA Soccer Complex. Good-looking setup here as we're going to decide two finalists both in the men and women's brackets here this morning and evening.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's going to be a chilly day here for some soccer, but we've got 2 women's games in the morning session, 2 men's games in the night session, and they should be exciting games all the way around, especially this first game here between the number 1 seed, the Mobile Rams, and your 5 seed, which is basically a home team, Auburn University Montgomery, the Warhawks. These 2 teams actually met back on October 30th, and it was a 2-0 game in favor of Mobile. Mobile's ran the table throughout this conference, but we'll find out what happens today here, as it is a very chilly day for soccer.
Very chilly, pretty blustery out here this morning as both teams have descended upon Montgomery. We had some great festivities last night at our conference banquet. Some awards were handed out. A lot of awards went to the top seeded Mobile Rams. This is our first game of the morning, Tim, but also our first upset of the tournament was recorded, at least in the women's action. Number 5 seeded Auburn Montgomery, they go on the road and knock off 4 seeded Bethel University last week to get to this semifinal matchup this morning.
Yeah, and that's always a good win for them on the road. Bethel's a team that we're very familiar with from the olden days of the Trans-South, but it's going to be one of these games where you got to really look and see who's going to win this game, because Mobile, as you mentioned, has 9 all-conference players on their team. And when you have a team with 9 all-conference players as well as Coach of the Year, you're doing something right, and this game should be exciting, and we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, Mobile set to take on Auburn Montgomery. Good-looking crowd starting to trickle in here on this chilly morning, but we're excited that you've joined us. We'll take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll get you your starting lineups as we creep closer to kickoff here on match day number 2 of the Southern States Men and Women's Soccer Championships in Montgomery. Check. A little bit better.
There we go.
Check.
I can
Nothing.
hear you, but can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you now, though.
Check.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit better now. be so quiet in here, it won't really matter.
Testing. Our apologies. Welcome to the 2014 Southern States Athletic Conference Soccer Tournament here at the beautiful Emery-Fulmer YMCA Soccer Complex in the state capital of Montgomery, Alabama. Today's semifinal contest is between the AUM Warhawks and the number 8 Mobile Rams. Welcome to today's contest. The SSAC and the NAIA are committed to promoting character-driven intercollegiate athletics. The NAIA Championship Character Program empowers student athletes, coaches, officials, and fans to demonstrate at all times what character truly means in a competitive arena. Please refrain from using profanity as you support your team. The NAIA encourages respect between opponents and sportsmanship in all contests. Thank you for your support and enjoy the game. At this time, please remove your hats and rise for the playing of our national anthem. Now today's starting lineup. First of all, for the visitors on the scoreboard, the AUM Warhawks. Number 1, Chloe Crook. Number 4, Michaela Dalen. Number 5, Leah Basso. Number 6, Emily Larson. Number 8, Julia Losert. Number 10, number 12, Leila Ramat. Number 14, Krista Hagan. Number 15, Kendall McCardle. Number 18, Courtney Presser. And number 20, Ida Berkland. Now the starters for the home team on the scoreboard, the Mobile Rams. Number 2, Savannah Rommel.
That they're going to have to
Number 8,
find a way to get
Saskia
one in the net early on here probably.
Number 9,
Savannah
Kayla
Rommel,
Hebert.
Saskia Adrians,
10,
Kayla
Rachel
Hebert,
Forsell.
Rachel Forrestal, Katie Compton,
12,
Rebecca
Katie
Spalding,
Compton.
Leah Korse, Tyler
Number
Ray
14,
Malloy,
Rebecca Spalding.
Madison Kierzinski,
Number 15,
and
Leah
Carol
Korse.
Scales. Again, Caroline Scales and
Number
Rebecca
17,
Wynn
Tyler
round out
Ray
the starting
Malloy.
11 for the Mobile Rams. Let's flip the script and let's talk a little bit about the Auburn Montgomery, the Warhawks. They're here located just less than a mile, in fact, from the Emery-Fulmer YMCA Soccer Complex. They're working with a limited roster, Tim. They feature just 2 outfield players and 1 backup goalkeeper, but their starting 11 pretty solid here this year.
Yeah, they're coming in with a record of 10-8 on the season. They've split 4-4 in the conference, but if you're going to look for goals from this team, you're going to look for 2 young ladies. They have 2 players that have scored 20 of their 36 goals. So if Mobile is going to stop them, they're going to have to stop those 2.
And 2 that you're referencing, Leila Ramash, transfer from Martin Methodist, having a great year this year in her second season as a member of the AUM Warhawks, and also Julia Lozert for Auburn Montgomery. Those are two of the starting 11 around them. Chloe Crook gets the start in net. Crook allowing pretty much starting every game but one this year for the Rams, allowed 26 goals, 1.6 goals against average as the season progressed. She had 69 saves. We'll have her call between the pipes, if you will, this evening. Michaela Dolan, Leah Bassow, Emily Larson. We mentioned Lozert, of course, Stephanie Anus, Leela Ramash, Krista Hagan, Kendall McCardle, Courtney Presser, and Ida Björklund, all starting for Auburn Montgomery. Tim, 90 minutes we're going to play here this morning, and the team that comes out and sets the tempo early, it's worth mentioning Mobile. They're going to advance to the NAIA National Tournament no matter what, regardless of how this game plays out, because they're hosting the tournament down in Orange Beach here in just a couple of weeks later this month. So don't know if that'll factor much into this contest tonight, but you got to imagine that Coach Person is maybe at least got that somewhat in the back of his mind here today.
Yeah, that does take the pressure off of you if you know that you already have a spot in the national tournament. However, I guarantee you these ladies want to go home with the Southern States Athletic Conference Championship, and that'll be the last thing on their mind right now as they're about to take the field and get this game underway.
So we are set to kick things off on we mentioned a very chilly morning here in Montgomery, but a good-looking morning nonetheless. Auburn Montgomery has got us underway. They attack left to right on your screen here this afternoon. It'll be Mobile taking over on a turnover. They'll run down the left wing here, and we are officially underway in Montgomery. Bit of a knock around here as this one will go out of touch. Mobile going to take a throw in. Going to be interesting to see how Coach Person attacks early. Mobile, one of the most high-powered attacks in the Southern States Athletic Conference, as they look to maybe capture this momentum less than a minute into this contest.
As we mentioned earlier in the pregame, Wade, if they can get an early goal, they're usually pretty much automatic to get a W, and so AUM's going to have to really play good defense here.
AUM has to send another one out of touch, and Mobile creeping a little closer now. The Rams, we mentioned all white, higher seed will wear white throughout the tournament. Mobile set to do just that if they can win here today. This is a nice little drop-off pass to Krasinski. Trying to find just inside the box. That one is taken away. But AUM unable to maintain possession. It comes down at the feet of Forrestal. She turns it over. Both teams struggling to maintain possession here in the early goings-on. All coming down in the back line, and kind of a bit of a scary moment there for Mobile, but now it looks like they're somewhat out of trouble. And now they've got it looking toward that right side for the first time this afternoon. They were checking for Saskia Adrians. And Tim, both teams just right now unable to collect more than a couple of seconds of possession at a time.
Yeah, it's very much like a filling out process. Both teams trying to figure out exactly what they want to do, get their offense going. But for AUM here, they're staying quite a bit down here on this side of the pitch, so they're going to really have to watch out here. Can ill afford to give Mobile, like we said, an easy goal here early on.
Yeah, Rams are dominating the possession thus far in the attacking third here, yet to register a shot. This one has trickled back, and maybe a chance now to reset here as Crook will collect that one. Mentioned Chloe Crook, nearly 1,500 minutes in net this season for the Warhawks. She punts one deep. Auburn Montgomery is in the plus side of the field here, if you will, for the first time this morning. Trying to slot that one out, and it's going to be a good job. Thought we might get a throw in for the Warhawks. Instead, they're going to rule this one, and it'll be possession to the Mobile Rams. Rams, one of the premier teams in the NAIA, ranked in the top 10. Currently number 8, just outside the top 10 for several weeks, but they just snuck in this past week after a regular season crown. They handed William Carey, the number 2 team in the land, their lone loss. Good bit of linked play right here, however, from Auburn Montgomery. Will we get our first shot of the afternoon? It's Lozert. She tries to slot one backside post. Ramash was on a run, and that one is scooped up rather easily by Wynn. Somewhat of a hint of an attacking threat, though, early from Auburn Montgomery. Now Mobile going to try and stem this tide somewhat.
You mentioned how this Mobile team's been playing very good soccer. They have actually won 11 straight and have a 12-game unbeaten streak, so they have not tasted defeat in quite a while.
We mentioned the Rams continually one of the NAIA's top sides. And they were the class in both. It was the double this year, Tim Wilson, the men and the women. We'll see the Mobile men in action at 4:30 this evening. Right now, Auburn Montgomery still trying to put together some passes in the attacking zone here. This one slides all the way back. Course is going to mop that one up and play it back to Wynn. Big clearance here by Wynn. Eyeing that right side of the field now. A good midfield defense from the Warhawks, and they're going to play this one all the way back. Opening minute or so had looked like Mobile was going to capture this momentum, but AUM has been able to put together some solid play. Still scoreless, 5th minute here in Montgomery in this tournament semifinal. Neither team allowed a goal in their opening round matchup. Those were played at host sites. 5-0 favor of Mobile against Belhaven, and then we mentioned the 1-0 result for Auburn Montgomery on the road at Bethel. Coming down the right side now. This will go out of touch. It'll be a Mobile throw-in. And they'll play this one back. Say this for the AUM defense. They're not scared to play back to Crook. She's pretty confident in her feet back there in net for the Warhawks.
As you mentioned, and maybe some of the folks back home watching can hear, the wind is very brisk out here today, which is affecting a lot of these balls being kicked into the air.
The elements are at play this afternoon, no doubt about it. This is a bit of a miscue right here, as it was course, but she's able to come back, collect that one, and drop things off. 41 goals on the season for the Rams, compared to 36 for Auburn Montgomery. Fairly even in the offensive firepower department. And we've got a loose ball here. Coming free on this one is Bassow. She's racing down the right side wing. Still got some work to do. And that one is knocked out by Course. So we'll reset the action here. But AUM kind of creeping into this attacking third now. Chance for a quick throw in. Now they're going to come back and resettle this. AUM still looking to register their first shot. Here's Ramash. She'll whip across into the box. Ball pops free. No one there to collect for AUM. Now they'll have to come back out and reset the attack. They drop it all the way back to the center stripe here.
We mentioned that Leela has 11 goals on the season to lead this AUM squad, so she would be the main target.
Second team all-conference performer. Having a great campaign for the Warhawks under Coach Brownlee. First year head coach here for the AUM side. And this will be a bit of miscommunication there. Second game this afternoon will feature Martin Methodist and William Carey. That'll be our final women's semifinal of the day. These two teams, the winner of these two games today, Tim, will meet Saturday, 11 a.m., championship Saturday.
With a national championship berth on the line, so a lot at stake here in these two semifinal matchups.
AUM linking together some play now. We're going to maybe pass it back to the center to Ramash. She collects it. Bit of a drop-off now here for Hagan. And Ramash floats one into the box. It's going to be just beyond Bassow's reach. Good job by Wynn coming off the line and collect that one. Still scoreless here in Montgomery. Coming up on 10 minutes into this opening matchup of the morning. Wind certainly a factor. Brisk conditions here, to say the least. Now Mobile, can they link something together? It's a good-looking ball, but it's intercepted. Great bit of defense right there by Losert, who came all the way back to collect that one. AUM had numbers, but they were too far back in the defensive zone to really make much of that one.
This Mobile squad, Wade, has only surrendered 3 goals in the last 11 games. So, as we mentioned, if AUM wants a chance at pulling the upset here today, they probably need to sneak one in early on, because as this game continues on, they're going to settle back into their D.
Seen AUM pull some solid wins this year. We mentioned they're the 5 seed, go on the road, knock off Bethel. Always tough place to play. Some interesting conditions up there in McKenzie, Tennessee. AUM able to collect the win, though. Well, both teams still seeking an opening shot here in this 10th minute. And again, back to Crook. You got to wonder also about the depth concerns for Auburn Montgomery. We remember playing with 2 outfield players and 1 reserve goalkeeper. Limited bench for Coach Brownlee this afternoon. Mobile, meanwhile, we've discussed at length how talented they are and how deep this side is.
You figure as this game progresses on, that will become a factor in this ball game.
Especially considering the temperatures this morning. We anticipated 50s, maybe 60s earlier in the week, but Mother Nature not coinciding here, as there's an argument. But that will not go in favor of the Rams, or excuse me, in favor of the Warhawks. Quick throw in, though, nearly turned over, and it is going to stay with Auburn Montgomery. Kind of a 4-3-3 look from the Warhawks here. Ramash kind of patrolling that center attacking position. She comes over, tries to collect this one, but it's Course able to cut that one out rather easily. Course is kind of anchoring that center back position.
First team all-conference player.
Seen her in action quite a bit here today, as we've seen Crook, who comes flying out to collect this one just outside the box. Good crowd on hand, starting to fill in. We were curious what type of numbers we'd get today, Tim, with the elements. I think that, plus the fact we've got a home team in the mix. Pretty decent crowd for 11 a.m. Good chance to get out of class for a couple Auburn Montgomery students, no doubt.
That is true. The campus right behind us.
34 minutes remaining here, first half. And the flag goes up 11. First offside call of the afternoon. That one on Adrian's. Saskia Adrian's. 5 goals, 6 assists on the year.
Earned her second team all-conference honors. Enterprise, Alabama native.
We've seen that on both of these teams, in fact. Get a couple of local products throughout the years. There's a good-looking ball. Nice turnaround by Bassau. Unable to collect it, though. And a great interception by Katie Compton. First time we really called her name, Tim, down the left side wing. And Katie Compton, kind of really one of the heart and souls of this Rams attack here. 9 goals and 2 assists, 20 points on the year.
And she's a very talented young lady, and that got our first team all-conference. As we mentioned, this team got quite a few accolades at the all-conference.
If you were at the banquet last night, you heard the University of Mobile, between both programs, called out quite a bit, no doubt. A lot of honors for William Carey on the women's side as well. Both the offensive and defensive player of the year awards, as this one is sent along by Crook. Comes down at the hands of Ramash. She plays it back in the middle. No true attacking chance yet for either team. Might that change here in the next couple of moments? You got to think Mobile's kind of in favor of being a little more patient right now, whereas AUM maybe wants to nick a goal early here or two.
Yeah, you would think so. And both these teams, like you said, are playing a little cautious right now, not wanting to give up an easy early goal. So as they fill each other out over the next 5 to 10 minutes, we'll see what happens.
Ramash very active. Won't have a foul call there. Thought we might get one at center pitch. Instead, we'll play on. It's been a somewhat entertaining affair thus far, but still looking for some attacking chances for either team. This one intended for Bassau in the center there. That one cut out by the Mobile defense. Compton lost the touch on it. It was flicked on for Losert, and that one was going to draw the whistle from our center ref. Losert lost the ball and then committed the foul, our first of the afternoon. That'll draw a small conference with our center ref this evening. There's the Mobile Rams set to kick with the wind-aided kick here. Definitely an advantage, you would think, for one team. This one is flicked on for Malloy, who's been kind of held in check thus far, the team's leading goal scorer.
I'm not freezing all day long.
But we are yet to call her name thus far, at more than a second or two. Auburn Montgomery now collecting. Scouting something out right there was Hagan. Looking forward to center. Here's Bassow, an extra touch. No, she's unable to maintain possession. Sloppy clearance, though. Mobile turns it right back over to AUM. And a similar result from the Warhawks. Now it'll be a Mobile throw. Compton will streak up and take it. Targeting Malloy. Malloy looking down the left side wing. Let's see what the first team all-conference player can do. Here she sends it into Compton. Compton still with a little bit of space. She whips a cross in. And Crook able to clean that one up. Tough to see who was on that back post right there. Maybe going to finish that one. But it was a good-looking run. And a
stop there by Crook, but then a poor kick out of bounds.
Poor kick is going to give possession right back. Was intended for Forrestal on the back line right there. First real chance. Didn't even register a shot attempt, Tim Wilson, but Mobile shows you just how quick, if you let your guard down for just a moment, they can pounce as we enter the 16th minute of this contest, still scoreless in Montgomery.
Yeah, they can attack very quickly, and if you let your draw down, they will come after you. And you've seen that just on that last possession, unsuccessful in the attempt. But watch out here as they're going to try to get something going again.
Here's Ramash. She sends one out, and that'll be cleared by the Rams. Auburn Montgomery attacking left to right here. Sharp-looking black kits this afternoon. They'll earn a second throw. Intended for Ramash. And this will be last touch by the Warhawks. So an unfortunate break right there for AUM. They'll give possession right back to Mobile. As Auburn Montgomery still seeking its first real offensive chance of the evening. Good ball right there, but no one able to collect it. That was off the boot of Hagan. Sloppy clearance, though. Again, Mobile's giving AUM a couple of chances to maybe string something together. Here's a nice-looking pass. Bassow, but a good job of cutting that one out by Leah Course. Beg pardon, by Rebecca Spalding. Two strong center defenders, center backs, I should say, for Mobile. Powerful clearance, though, bumps into an AUM attacker, and this one could turn into an offensive chance. But Mobile's able to clear this one away. Good looking run, though. Here's Björklund. First time we've called Ida Björklund's name tonight. She came flying into the attack, but Mobile able to at least stem the tide somewhat here. Kind of been the story, Tim. We've seen flashes for just a moment from Mobile, but then AUM's able to kind of stem the tide and put together a little bit of something of their own.
Yeah, AUM's able to attack just enough to keep the game on this end, but as we mentioned, these two teams met just a couple weeks ago in a 2-0 game in which Kayla Hebert scored a goal in the 17th minute and then an unassisted tally there in the 33rd. So it was some two quick scores to get them on the board here. But right now, if you're AUM, you got to be happy with the way that you're hanging in here. And as this game continues on, expect for their confidence to build as well.
Tough foul right there, going to go against Hagan. Hagan and Losert both in the area. 26-55, limited action thus far. Two fouls if you're keeping official track of this. This one's going to come down, though. Might we see our first shot of the game? Yes, it is. It's a knuckling ball from Malloy, but a great stop by Crook. Looked like Malloy just kind of lost her balance. She was still able to get a flick on it, Tim, and Crook did a great job of getting big and making the stop, our first save of the evening.
Yeah, that was a good job by Chloe Crook there. She looked like she was about to go the opposite direction, but was able to get that stop and able to keep this still 0-0.
Ball came down kind of awkwardly at the feet of Malloy, but she was able, great presence of mind, to put a boot on that one. A good stop by Crook. So just as we were referencing the lack of official action, we have our first shot and our first save in this conference semifinal. Ball comes down to Compton. Decent looking head on, but a good bit of defensive effort right there. Nice looking ball in the middle to Ramash, the French national. Let's see what she can piece together. Now a nice little bit of an overlapping run there from Losert. She loses the handle. And this one will be sent out of touch here. It'll be a throw-in favoring the Mobile Rams. The Mobile men's team has arrived. They'll take on Martin Methodist at 4:30. Mobile men, #1 seed, regular season champ. Martin Methodist, the #4 seed. The men are on hand to cheer on their ladies. As Cook comes all the way out to play this when she lost the balance. Fortunately, Compton was about 20 yards away. Otherwise, that could have been a disaster. As we're 21 minutes into this contest, still scoreless. #1 versus #5. Top seeded Mobile Rams, 5th seeded AUM Warhawks. Mobile with possession, trying to slot that pass through to Compton. It's cut out. Great stop right there by Losert, who's been very active defensively. Probably the premier defender thus far for Auburn Montgomery. Ball whipped in. It's a backside effort right there. And we've got a foul in the middle. As that was Hebert flagged for the foul. Louisiana native, Kayla Hebert.
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Lafayette High School, freshman midfielder committing the foul. And we mentioned it earlier, but elements, you got to wonder how much they really are a factor. Some of these young ladies wearing sleeves and gloves out here. Mobile certainly used to perhaps warmer temperatures. It was pretty chilly a couple of weeks ago, as we understand it down there, but certainly on the cool side this morning. Let's play back to Crook, who's been very active with her feet this morning. Ball flicked on, intended in the center right there for Presser. And Mobile able to clear that one rather easily. Might this now be something together for Auburn Montgomery? No. Still not out of the woods yet, though, is Mobile. And this one is whipped in. Intended again for Presser, but unable to get her boot on that one. And it'll be Mobile who turns it right back over. Now working right side is Björklund. Björklund came charging in on an attack early. She's got it free here with some space on the right side wing, and she'll whip it in. It'll take a deflection. We've got our first corner kick coming. Went off of Rommel. Good defense right there, Savannah Rommel. She does concede the corner kick, however. And taking this set piece will be Stephanie Aines. So Aines going to step over this one. Might this be where Auburn Montgomery collects a goal from a corner kick? Whipped in. Good outswinger. Taking a shot on the backside. Collected easily by Wynn. Good bit of goalkeeping right there from Wynn, but a great shot by Dolan, who did well just to get a foot on that one. Took a solid little hop before she was able to get a boot to it. Both teams with a shot, but neither team with the goal, as we've got 22 minutes till halftime. Ray Neely and Tim Wilson, glad to be with you. Proud to be partnering with the SSAC network on YouTube. We'll have all 540 minutes, Tim Wilson, we're scheduled for of tournament action.
It's a lot of soccer.
That's a lot of soccer over 2 total match days. But we will indeed have 6 total contests. And we'll crown 2 champions on Saturday. We'll punch 4 finalist tickets, however, today. Mobile maintaining possession here, attacking third. That's Kierzinski. She flicks one on. Crook able to get some mitts on it. Kierzinski, never really a threatening chance. It was actually probably going to go wide, but Crook just wanted to make sure.
But the way the wind is blowing here,
certainly can't take any chances.
Are not easy anymore on that end, at least.
You are correct, Tim.
So Crook's doing a really good job at goal.
Maybe the team's MVP thus far. Here's a decent ball in. No one on the end of that one for Compton. Kierzinski, beg pardon, with the floating shot in a minute ago. Mobile's maybe had the better attacking chance between the two teams. They've had the one cross that was picked off by Crook, and they also had the great save by Crook, did Auburn Montgomery. But AUM has enjoyed some possession in the attacking third as well. But Malloy with it, or excuse me, Compton with it. Not much in it, so she'll send it back out. Mobile will cycle this one. And Crook will make a easy effort there with exactly 20 minutes to play here in the first half. Remember, kicking into the wind, and that's the second straight clearance that goes sailing toward the touchline. Luckily for AUM, Mobile unable to do much with that. They give it right back via throw-in.
Yeah, any free kick into the air, it's anybody's ball game where it's going, because especially going this direction, the wind is whipping, as you can see from the flags.
The wind right in the face of Crook. Be curious to see if they alter that strategy. You may see her start dishing out some long throws rather than punted kicks with the wind whipping so hard. Both teams struggling for possession here in the midfield. And a good job of earning a corner, or big part earning a throw-in on the far sideline there. Mobile's defenders have had a solid afternoon. They haven't really been tested a ton, but the chances they've had, they've tidied them up rather nicely. Including this one from Course, going to send it over to the right side. Back now to Spalding. Chance for a possible counterattack for Mobile, unable to make much out of it. Might we see AUM here. Good looking ball, but unable to get to that one was Bassow, who's been active on that right side flank this afternoon. Taking this one on will be Hagan. She'll call the number of Presser. Presser, though, unable to get to that one, but Mobile going to clear that one out for a throw-in. Patient effort from Auburn Montgomery thus far, but also strong defense, as we'll have a handball whistled here. Hagan, ball takes an unfortunate bounce. And Auburn Montgomery's attack comes to a close there. Still scoreless. Top-seeded Mobile Rams, 5th-seeded Auburn Montgomery Warhawks. Here's Compton with it on the outside. She'll bring it back in to the edge of the 18. That one takes an unfortunate deflection. She sends a ball in, and get up is the call from the official as Malloy took a tumble. Good challenge there from AUM's Björklund. Ida Björklund, Norwegian national, junior defender. Possibly stopped. It would have been a great-looking through ball right there. Now out on a hop here. Here's Losert with it. Did she take one extra touch? I think she did, and it may come back to haunt her as Mobile's able to secure possession. Got a whistle on the far sideline here. We're going to have a free kick. They're going to say Losert committed a foul right there. Kind of a frustration foul. She had a good-looking effort, Tim, and then just turned it over. Committed a cheap foul just kind of out of frustration, anger a little bit there.
And she knows she's going to regret doing that. But as we mentioned just a moment ago, if you're AUM, you have to be very happy with where you're sitting right now with 16 and a half minutes left to go in the first half, because the last meeting between these two teams, Mobile jumped on them early with 2 first-half goals, and the longer this game goes, the more confidence you have to feel that AUM builds with a chance at upsetting the #1 seed and regular season champions.
Yeah, AUM already we mentioned with the one upset statistically, or seeding-wise, I should say, 5th seeded with an upset over the 4th seeded Bethel Lady Wildcats last week in McKenzie, Tennessee. That was on the road, and kind of a weird twist of events here, Tim Wilson. AUM technically a neutral site game, but really realistically a home game, even though they're the lower seeded team this afternoon.
Yeah, they play some games here during the regular season. Actually, the contest between these two teams were played here back on October 30th, so they're both familiar with this pitch.
Mobile, maybe they stringing something together. AUM now with 10 defenders, or excuse me, with 9 defenders back behind the ball. The lone player up top, Presser. Bit of a show of respect here is now Mobile trying to string something together. Kinzierski got it started. Now here's Malloy with it. Good looking idea, but that one will trickle all the way back. And we see a 3rd consecutive kick here. This one, much better effort from Crook, punting right into the wind, remind you. Wind has somewhat died a little bit, but still very much a factor this afternoon. As Losert will take over on a throw-in just inside of Mobile territory. Mobile able to force Auburn Montgomery to kick that one out. Rams have had a couple of chances, but still looking for that textbook finish that they've been known for this season. 31 goals, 31 goals. Perhaps more impressive, just 9 conceded this season. 36 goals for Auburn Montgomery. But still scoreless as we tick under 15 minutes, 14 minutes approaching now in our first semifinal matchup. Auburn Montgomery, not much in that right there. We've seen a few unfortunate bounces that have led to some results, but nothing direct thus far for either team. And Crook will come charging out, sweep this one up. Great ball. And depending on the bounce, could have gone AUM's way, but Mobile able to clean that one up. Aumws has got to come back and tally that one to Crook. We've seen Ramash involved in the game early. She's kind of struggled to leave her fingerprint on it, or excuse me, if you will, her footprint on it here over the last several minutes. Might see her get involved again. AUM, though, on a quick turnover, now a counter. Here's Compton with it. Eyeing across. Yes, she sends it in. Aumws there to stop it. Comes back down in the hands of Compton. Good save from Crook. Still not out of the woods as it comes down top of the 18. And that one will be blocked.
McCardle, I believe.
Kinzierski looked like took the shot, and it was McCardle with, you're indeed,
she
Tim.
looks injured.
You're indeed correct. She did a great job of blocking that one, put her body on the line.
She's
She
at
is
least
in
shaken
pain
up.
right there, yeah. And we may see a timeout here, and we will. It'll be an official timeout. Clock will stop with 12:34 remaining.
In cold weather like this, it does not feel good to get nailed with the ball.
Even if you're okay, you're exactly right. It certainly doesn't feel great. Good looking sequence though right there. Compton broke free down the left side of the box. Had the cross intended right in the center. It was cut out by Aumws. She sends it back out. And it came down to Kinzierski, who rifled the shot, but it was blocked. And you got to wonder, if not for that deflection or that block right there by McCardle, that was not only traveling at a high rate of speed, Tim Wilson, that was heading right toward the net.
Yeah, I'm sure Crook's going to go out there and thank her for that, but that was a great stop there by Crook on the first save.
Yeah, great save. A couple of saves now, in fact, by Chloe Crook. Seen her garner some conference accolades throughout the season, a couple of Player of the Week awards.
Looks like that may have caught her on the thigh, I believe, so she's going to shake that off, but good effort there.
We mentioned Coach Lorna Brownlee. She's having some words on the sideline as you see McCardle there coming off, or at least coming toward the sideline here. Coach Brownlee there to greet her. Check in on the injury. You hope she's okay. Looks like she will be okay. As you referenced, on a cold day like this, taking a high rifled shot to the thigh, probably not going to feel very pleasant. But it did stop what could have been a surefire goal for the Rams. After all that, it'll be a throw-in for Auburn Montgomery. And they maintain possession. Referee was signaling something tough for us to determine. Ball coming down now. Here's Presser with it. Saw her involved in the attack a moment ago for Auburn Montgomery. She relinquishes possession. They try and float one long to Compton. That's going to be too far. That's going to go out for a throw deep in AUM territory. A Bear sent that ball floating. And Tim, if that same ball was sent in the second half, the wind might have checked it up just enough to allow Compton to run onto it, but with the wind at their backs, Mobile unable to time the run there.
Yeah, Compton's getting a lot of pressure on this AUM team, and they're just going to have to be sure and get back, or else it's going to be pretty soon her one-on-one against Crook, excuse me.
There's Losert, who we mentioned has been a very attacking presence. We've seen her get involved in the attack here from the wing, kind of on a wing-back role today, but she's really had to ply her craft in the defensive zone this afternoon. AUM with possession. Here's Raymash. First touch in open space in a while. She sends one left. That's intended for Dahlin. Can she make a run onto it? Yes.
Poked away and out of bounds.
Good bit of defending right there by Kenzierski, who got all the way back. And this one's sent now toward the center. And AUM just struggling to get much going in the center right there. The two imposing center backs for Mobile have plagued AUM. AUM, though, with possession. That was Bassow. Lost her footing there. And it'll be Björklund coming in to try and clean this one up. Ball will stay in. Bassow's got it on the right side. Able to free that one up. But not much in that as Course sends it along. Here's Malloy with it. Haven't seen Tyler Ray Malloy with a lot of open field chances today as well. And now this one will be played all the way back. Coming up on 10 minutes to play, still scoreless in our first match of the afternoon. Winner will punch their ticket to the 11 a.m. championship contest on Saturday.
Speaking of Malloy and Compton both with 9 goals on the season to lead this Mobile charge. And like you said, thus far, she's been quiet.
Good looking run right there by Losert. And we've got a foul. A couple of players in the area right there. It was Rommel and Course kind of both involved on that one. It leads to a free kick here for Losert.
Speaking of 9 goals, Losert with 9 of her own on the season. So
we just mentioned her from that wing back area. She came charging up several times today and earns the free kick here. Let's see what Coach Brownlee draws up on this set piece with 9:10 remaining till halftime. Losert, the only one standing over it. She'll take this one. Mid-level cross sent in. Took a touch. And we'll have our second corner kick of the afternoon.
Looked like
A-Bear caught a glancing header right there. Kind of a dangerous header. Went sailing out And Aumws will come over to take the second free kick. We saw her take one in this near side corner earlier. This time she's on the far side. First one was cleared rather easily by the Rams. 8:30 now till halftime. Good-looking ball in. And that was actually Compton, of all people, to come in and threw that one. A lot of contact in the box on a second effort. As a good-looking header right there by Scales clears it all the way out. AUM fans, as you might expect, wanting a call in the box there. Official says play on. Crook clears it out. AUM able to briefly maintain possession. Now Malloy with it. Is the flag staying down? No. It'll be Compton flag for offside. Nice idea from Malloy right there. But Compton just a touch offside. And that was going to be a scary situation for Auburn Montgomery. They were fortunate to see that flag go up. 7.5 till the break. Still scoreless in Montgomery. As Bassow mistimed a throw in right there. Miscommunication leads to Mobile possession. Compton with it on this near side. Good bit of play to turn that one around by Malloy. She sends one deep to Adrians, but that one, again, too much. Again, Mobile playing with the wind at their back today, at least in the first half. Meanwhile, AUM, that ball checks up in the wind, and sails out of touch here. It'll be a throw in for the Rams.
I call it a good and bad side. If AUM can hang on here in the first half, you figure they might have a little bit of an advantage going the opposite direction here in the second half.
You see this often when the elements are at play. The team that can take advantage when they have the wind in their favor. That team was Mobile in this first half, but AUM's done a great job of stemming the tide. And you got to think Coach Brownlee's content to just get it to halftime still scoreless in this semifinal. Still some work to do, though, as Losert, this one takes a touch, stays in play. Losert able to settle it briefly, then she'll give it away. Neither team yet to make a substitution here in the contest. We saw the knock earlier to McCardle. She stayed in the contest. But Auburn Montgomery did not make the change. Just two outfield reserves today, one reserve goalkeeper. They have a thin bench, to say the least.
Very limited players to sub in.
Saw this team in action a couple of weeks ago. They make the most of their two substitutions, but working with thin numbers as Crook will come out and collect this one. 2-0 back on October 30th, you referenced him, and early start for the Mobile Rams in that contest against Auburn Montgomery on a victorious afternoon. But AUM hanging tough. We've played 40 minutes here in this tournament semifinal. This one comes down to Malloy. Tyler Ray going to send one on. Good-looking ball, but Crook quick off the line. And she scoops that one up.
As you mentioned, neither team yet to surrender a goal here in the tournament thus far. Neither one looking like they wanted to here early on in this first half.
Yeah, Crook by far been the more active of the two goalkeepers. Wynn has had some great efforts, but Crook has had to make several saves and also stop a cross or two, as well as tidying up through balls like that one. AUM playing it back to McCardle. She'll send it all the way back to Crook. Don't see this a lot in the women's game either. There's a near turnover and a stabbing tackle from behind there. We'll try and ID that one on the far side. I believe that one's going to be
Adrian's
on A-Bear.
A-Bear.
Kind of just raced in on the back of Aumws and picked up the tackle. 4 minutes to play now till half. Flick on. No one home. Wynn quick out off the line and scoops that one up. Let's see what type of a punt we get here with the wind at her back. Good looking ball. Nice flick on by A. Bear. Maintaining her footing somehow was Malloy for a moment there. But Hagan comes in for the tackle. AUM not out of the woods yet. They've played well thus far in the first half, but we've still got 3.5 minutes till the whistle goes here at the Emory Folmar YMCA Soccer Complex. Ramash now working to McCardle. This one intended down that left side wing. That one possession lost. Here's Compton. She comes out. She gets a toe to it. Crook comes out and does enough of an effort to keep that one away. AUM has survived at least temporarily.
Risky play there by Crook coming out to take that ball.
And another near miss right there as Malloy came charging in. It was Björklund able to stop that one. And now we've got a foul against Mobile with 2:38 remaining till halftime. AUM has survived a possible scary situation here. Here's Losert with it. Again, we've seen her streak down this right-hand side several times today. She turns this one over, however, but tough clearance for Mobile means that AUM maintains possession. They whip one in, but that was out of touch. They'll say it'll be a throw-in for the Rams with 2:13 remaining. Scoreless contest. Reminder, you can find live stats of this contest online via our DAC Stats portal. That's ssacsports.com. As 1:55 now. Malloy. Is there a bit of magic for the Rams left here in the first half? They've shown some flashes of offensive brilliance, but been unable to put one past Crook. Comes all the way back to Course, over to Compton. Intended for Malloy. Malloy unable to get to that one. That one was whipped in by A. Bear. Anus had the clearance. And you see how quickly, Tim, the pressure from Mobile can just make something out of nothing, much like this. A giveaway in the middle of the pitch here. Here's Rommel with it.
UAM's not out of trouble yet here as Mobile's still on the attack.
The Rams of Mobile. Looking strong here in the final 5 minutes of the first half. Under 60 seconds now. And AUM playing pretty well thus far in the first half. They're just going to try to hang on here. As that one is sent out by Rommel. It'll be an Auburn Montgomery throw-in. Mobile still got to be careful as well. There's time for a chance for either of these teams. 33 seconds. As Losert just sends that one deep. And we're about one big clearance away from either of these teams from escaping the first half scoreless, but it's a giveaway. AUM with a quick throw in, 16. Here's Bassow with it, right side. And it's a miscommunication there, and that one will trickle out of play. It'll be a goal kick, and that should and will take us to halftime. Tim Wilson, we played 45 minutes. Both teams had flashes. Mobile had a couple of really good chances, but at the end of the first half, we are scoreless in our SSAC opening semifinal matchup this afternoon.
Yeah, neither team able to get in goal, but it was an exciting first half as both teams had some, as you mentioned, some flashes of opportunities. On one end, you had Mobile really applying some pressure at times, and Crook is doing excellent, especially on that end with the wind blowing and all the things going on. On the other end, Wynn has done a fine job. She's had to defend a couple of corner kicks, but she's done really well all around.
Been a solid first half for both teams, and we have arrived here at a scoreless halftime scoreline. We'll take a timeout, and we'll rejoin you guys here a little bit closer toward the second half as we are scoreless in the SSAC semifinal in Montgomery, Alabama. Scoreless opening 45 minutes here in Montgomery. Women's soccer semifinal number 1. It is Auburn Montgomery 0 and number 1 seed Mobile Rams 0. He's Tim Wilson. I'm Wade Neely. Tim, not a lot of quote-unquote action per se in terms of shots and shots on goal. We had 7 total shots, 6 coming from Mobile. Only 3 of those were on target, however. But all in all, it was a really entertaining first half. Auburn Montgomery probably got what they wanted, and that's to get to halftime still scoreless, keeping the high-powered Ram offense off the scoreboard.
If you're AUM, you have to be very happy with where you stand here after the first 45 because you're in a 0-0 game against the top team in the conference right now. And like you mentioned, you've also, despite having a lot of the action down on your end of the field, they've done a really good job of only having 3 shots on goal. A couple of them were very risky, but still nonetheless, Crook has done a really good job of defending her goal, and the AUM offense has done a pretty good job of applying a little bit of pressure on Mobile, but not as much as I'm sure they would like to. But sitting here at the half, tied at 0, I'm sure they're very, very content with where they are. They would love to be able to sneak one through here, but you know, they've put a little bit of pressure on Wynn. Wynn, we mentioned how she's an all-conference player and has only allowed 12 goals all season, and you know, she defended those 2 corner kicks pretty good early on, and there's not much can be said other than both these teams sort of filling each other out, sort of like a boxing match or an MMA fight, I guess would be a better way of putting it now for the folks listening. You know, filling each other out for the first half, and expect to see a little more action here in the second half as both coaches, I'm sure, went in, made some adjustments, and are going to look to try to get this game going and try to sneak a goal through. And a game like this, you know, 1 goal could be the difference. So both these teams need to be ready to play and expect an exciting second half.
Yeah, match day number 2 here in the conference tournament. First round was held at opening sites. This one, depending on where your site was played, this effort going to be much colder here, Tim Wilson. We are in the Southern States Athletic Conference, but when you get into November, it doesn't matter really where you're playing. It's going to get a little chilly, and the elements are at play here. We've mentioned it quite a few times in the first half, but the wind is really the main factor. It played havoc with several clearances from goalkeeper Chloe Crook. She had an outstanding first half, making 3 saves and swept up a couple of other errant through balls, but she will have the win now at her back. So I'm curious to see how this second half plays out with that factor being at play here, the team swapping sides now.
Yeah, you'd anticipate that the Warhawks will try to be a little more aggressive on the offensive end here with the wind and so forth behind their back, but it's going to be interesting to see what game plan they come out with here in the second half.
So we're going to step aside for just a moment. Both teams are warming up. We'll have the kickoff coming from the Emery-Folmar YMCA Soccer Complex on the other side of this timeout. You are watching the SSAC Women's Soccer Championship here on SSAC Sports Network on YouTube. Second half is set to begin. Auburn Montgomery in the black uniforms, road black unis, even though, Tim, they are at home. The campus just a mile away or so from the Emery-Folmar YMCA Soccer Complex. Meanwhile, Auburn Montgomery's opponent, the Mobile Rams, they're in their road or home whites with black trim. Both teams are out moving and shaking, trying to stay warm, and we are seconds away from the beginning of our final 45 here.
Both these teams wanting to punch a ticket into the championship game on Saturday morning at 11 a.m.
AUM will be on defense here as Mobile kicks it back, and we are underway in the second half. Ray Mosh with it. Chance to send this one in. We saw Ray Mosh with a quick start for AUM. Maybe she'll get things going here. Good looking effort centered right there. Ball was slided in by Dolan, who had the lone shot on goal in the first half. Good clearance, however, by Course for Mobile. This one's going to go out of touch. It'll be a throw-in. Mobile wanted a foul against Upper Montgomery. Nothing doing there. Anxious to see what adjustments, if any, these two coaches made at halftime. Less than a minute into this second half here in a scoreless contest. Here's Mobile. Ball into the wind, and you can already see anything more than a few feet off the ground for Mobile is going to be a struggle here in the second half as the wind will knock it down quickly. Rams have already punched a ticket to the national tournament by virtue of hosting for the second straight year. Gorgeous facility down there in Orange Beach, Alabama. Rams are the closest school, and they will serve as the tournament host. Auburn Montgomery trying to join them, perhaps, down there. Still got a ways to go. The winner of this game will punch their ticket to our championship game on Saturday. And then the NAI opening round contest will be next Saturday, the 22nd. So still a bit to be decided before we can begin discussing Orange Beach. Here's Ray Mosh playing this one up. Do we have a shot attempt? Yes, we do. Good looking effort. A follow-up shot right there by Dolan. Won't go. Ray Mosh popped one in the air, and Auburn Montgomery was able to run onto it. First shot by Hagan, second shot by Dolan.
Good job of Spalding getting in the way there to block that one.
Here's Ray Mosh. That was really the best chance of the contest for Auburn Montgomery. Now quickly, here comes Mobile trying to maybe spring a counterattack. Good job in the center by Bjorklund of clearing that one. Ray Mosh with it. Leela Ramash, second team all-conference. She sends it over to the left. Last touched by Auburn Montgomery. They say Dolan got a toe to it. Already, less than 3 minutes into this second half, we've seen the best chance of the contest for Auburn Montgomery, Tim. And maybe the wind a factor. Here's a header down to Ramash. She's unable to run onto it. Still not out of the woods, though, as Hagan tries to corral it. Far sideline, she sent it over to Losert. Losert going to whip in across. Nothing doing there. Ramash was the closest one to it. But Wynn able to charge out and maybe stem the tide here.
Already you can see here in the second half, AUM being much more aggressive on the offensive end.
That's what we were curious about. How would Coach Warner Brownlee make the adjustments at the break? Mobile now. Got to be careful. This is a talented Mobile side, as that was Bear intended for on the through ball. But Crook comes out, gathers that one. Ball headed down. This will come down to Dolan. Dolan working near sideline. Throw in favoring the Rams. You can see the coaches and players both bundled up. Very chilly Thursday morning. Going to get cooler as the day turns into night, no doubt, as this will be now a throw in for the Warhawks. Just beyond the center stripe. Dolan, though, touches that one and goes out of touch. It'll be right back in possession of the Rams. Both teams kind of just ping-ponging and trading possession here in the early goings of the second half, but AUM had a nice attacking spell just a couple of moments ago. Still scoreless, but the Warhawks have clearly been the more attacking side in this second half, Tim.
Yeah, you'd figure a close game like this would probably favor AUM because they were in a battle with Bethel in that 1-0 game compared to the 5-0 game that Mobile won in their first round action. But again, got a whistle.
That was Adrian's. Tried to whip it in, but stepped out just before. Pitch in pretty good shape here at the Emory-Fulmar Soccer Complex.
It's been beautiful weather until here this week. It decided to change to nice cool weather for us just in time for the tournament.
Almost never fails when the calendar flips and you get into conference tournament season. You've got to deal with some injury, or excuse me, deal with some cold weather.
Weather elements, yes.
As both teams kind of slowed things down here over the last couple of minutes. This one played back to Crook. We saw this several times. Warhawks not afraid to play it back to their talented keeper, Chloe Crook. It's London native, 5'9" senior. Foul right there in the center with 38:55 left in regulation. And you can see it somewhat as this one is whipped in and collected. Even our goalkeepers bundling up here. Crook had the snoot on earlier, actually covering her face up. Wind is whipping here in Montgomery. And much like the first half, we see a less than stellar clearance, but it actually takes a gratuitous bounce favoring Mobile. Unable to cash in, though. Now Auburn Montgomery with possession. But that one mopped up by Course. As the day continues, got to wonder if the coaches in the later games are taking note of how this is affecting, the elements are affecting these contests. May not see many goals on the afternoon, Tim Wilson.
Yeah, it could be very defensive-minded affairs here tonight, especially once you get into the night games in the men's contest when it's going to get even colder when the sun goes down, or what sun there might be. The overcast will say
Overcast skies today, no doubt. There's a peak of sunshine every now and again, but gray skies here. This one sails out.
Probably won't see the teams warming up as much as they're going to stay on their buses, it appears, until closer to the action.
Working with it on that far sideline. Tie up there. I'm going to say a foul going against the Warhawks, or excuse me, going against AUM, so it'll be a Mobile free kick just inside their own half here. Hagan was whistled for the foul. Quick free kick. Comes back to Mobile. If you just joined us, 2-0 back on October 30th. Mobile was able to pounce early. We've played over 50 minutes in this contest. And AUM has held the high-powered Ram offense. And for that matter, the Ram defense has held the high-powered Warhawk offense off the scoreboards here. Scoreless with 36-35 remaining in the contest.
Very similar start to the second half as the first, as the action is down on this end of the field. In this case, AUM being more aggressive here in the second half, and Mobile really not getting anything going offensively.
Good header from McCardle there. We saw her briefly exit with an injury in the first half. She took a rocketed shot to the leg. Ball played in. Compton able to corral it. Can she get free on a toucher? 3 defenders bearing down. Great job right there by Losert to come in and knock away that one. Compton was streaking.
Nice clearance there by Bjorklund to get it out of there.
And Bjorklund and Losert able to swoop in and make the clearance. Really the best chance of the second half for the Rams. They had some terrific scoring opportunities in the first 45, but that was easily the best chance here in period number 2. Warhawks, though, trickling now into the attacking zone. Intended for Ramash in the center. Knocked away. McCardle trying to stop it. Flick on. And knocked away. Now to Rams. They don't have numbers, but they're going to attempt it anyway, looking for Compton. They've triggered their best offensive opportunities, Tim, from that left side wing with Compton, who had a great run in the box earlier. Forced a save from Crook. They've gone through Katie Compton. Auburn Montgomery tries to go down the wing themselves. That one is cut out. Over 10 minutes gone by here in this second half in a scoreless contest. Teams are arriving for our second game. Third-seeded Martin Methodist going to take on second-seeded William Carey in what should be a fantastic affair. William Carey, the second seed not only in the tournament, but they're ranked number 2 in the country. Just one loss to this Mobile team. Here's a ball that pops free, sent on, and missing a good boot on that one was A. Bear. She struggled to make clean contact there. And now Crook will send it deep.
Great thing about this tournament play, Wade, is that you're playing for survival a lot of times. We mentioned how Mobile has an opportunity to host, so they're already in the national tournament. But for these teams that are uncertain about their future, it's win or go home possibly. So that's why you see such tough competitive games here, especially down here in Montgomery.
Saw this last year. Martin Methodist and Belhaven met in that men's championship game. Both teams needing a win essentially to advance to the national tournament in what was a stellar affair on the field just behind us. That will be where we play our championship games. This is field number 2 at the Emery-Fulmar YMCA Soccer Complex. Field number 1 directly behind us. As they're going to change things up, Spalding will take the goal kick here with the wind in her face. AUM with the flick on. Great looking ball right there from Malloy. Can Adriance run onto it? She does, but too much of a touch there from Auburn Montgomery, and we'll have, they're going to rule last touch by Malloy, or excuse me, by Adriance. It will be a goal kick here. AUM defenders were dropping back, thinking a possible corner, but it was ruled out for a goal kick. 32:50 now remaining in this scoreless affair in Montgomery. Piercing winds between two really good conference rivals. Ray Mosh, ball sent on to Dolan. Waiting at the edge of the 18 was Rebecca Wynn. We've bragged on Crook coming out of the box and able to sweep up some plays right there, but Wynn has been just as effective. She's had some good opportunities tonight as well.
Yeah, the Auburn, Alabama native just down the road from here. Doing a fine job, having a stellar season.
Rebecca Wynn, 8 shutouts on the season. 12 shutouts as a team for these Rams. Auburn Montgomery, though, hanging tough. We've seen some magic happen with AUM in this Emery-Fulmar Soccer Complex over the years. Might they spring an upset here? They've already upset one foe to get to Montgomery. If you just joined us, they knocked off 4th-seeded Bethel University last week. Here's Aumws with it. First touch of the second half. Making a nice run here. Drifting into the center and losing possession.
Nice job by Compton.
Good job now. As Spalding comes flying up. Excuse me.
Spalding, yes.
And Malloy now with possession of it. She's been bottled up. Great job defensively of containing Tyler Ray Malloy, Rams' leading goal scorer. She's had her chances, but they have been few and far between. And AUM, you see now every defender dropping, every attacker, I should say, and defender dropping back for the Warhawks. Now they spring forward. Working on that far sideline. And ball knocked around. Good looking run though here by Losert. We see her darting forward on these big galloping runs down the right flank. She tried to run onto that one, but there was contact. And Losert, the German national, just a junior. She can play all 3 positions, but today she's listed as a defender. She's whistled for that foul. Half an hour to play here in Montgomery in the second half. Scoreless contest. Might that change? We see the Rams on a run now. Long distance effort. And on a night like, or an afternoon like today, that probably a weak challenge there from Malloy, as that one sails out of touch for off the end line for a goal kick. Wind showing no signs of letting up this afternoon. Auburn Montgomery has the wind at its back. They played a scoreless first half, despite several real quality chances from the Rams. Warhawks trying to run on this one. Ramash was fighting for it, just unable to get there. Now working right side wing. Good looking run from Malloy. Flag will stay down. crossing over. She centers it. No one home there. And Auburn Montgomery, at least temporarily, has stopped this attack. Here comes Mobile on that second chance. Good looking effort. Compton to Malloy. Shot sails high. That was a dangerous effort from one of the premier players in the Southern States Athletic Conference. Tyler Ray Malloy off a beautiful setup from Compton, sailed it high. And we've got an injured AUM Warhawk. As I believe Aumws took a knock right there. Stephanie Rodriguez Aumws.
Good opportunity there by Malloy, but luckily for AUM, just sailed a little too high.
And you got to wonder.
It's hard to do in the wind going that direction.
Exactly. You got to wonder if Malloy maybe didn't think about putting more on that shot because of the conditions, and as a result, maybe sailed it high. AUM now with possession. Here's McCardle. Shot flicked away, or excuse me, pass attempt knocked away. This one will go out of touch. It'll be a throw-in favoring the Mobile Rams. Aumws appears to be okay. Both her and McCardle have taken knocks this afternoon. But you see how quickly Mobile can turn something out of nothing. Looked like a harmless effort for the Rams, and then it led to Malloy with the shot sailing over the goal. Still scoreless with 28:35 remaining here in our opening women's semifinal. Possession lost here. Auburn Montgomery. Now Mobile with it. The Rams starting to maybe press numbers forward. Malloy is really starting to feature more in this second half now. She charges in here. Cook able to send that one long. And they work it now. Here's Bassow on the right side. That one knocked away. Warhawks maintaining possession. It's through ball intended for Malloy. Tyler Ray Malloy shakes her head. Rams just have not been able to get that ultimate link up that they're seeking here, both in the first and now approaching the halfway point of the second half, Tim Wilson.
Yeah, good punt there by the goalkeeper.
Crook has been fantastic in net. She's made several big saves for Auburn Montgomery. Otherwise, we could be talking about a one, possibly two-goal advantage for the Mobile Rams. Bassow working with it right side. As the conditions have played a heavy factor here today, there may be some further inclement weather on the way. Have a radar update in a little bit, but it looks like patches of rain headed toward the Emory-Fulmar Soccer Complex. Here's Malloy with it. Run being made on the right. It was probably going to be offside. Now she sends it back over to the left. Here's Compton. An extra touch for Compton. There's contact in the box. The official points to the spot. We'll have a penalty kick. Crook came out of the box. Compton was charging in, much like the effort we saw in the first half, and this time Chloe Crook just could not get there in time, and it'll be a red card. Chloe Crook's day is done. She came charging out of the box like we've seen so many times this afternoon, and she did not time that run well at all. Auburn Montgomery will play with 10 men for the remainder of this contest with 26-28 here in the second half. Crook cannot believe it. She has been magnificent in goal.
Looks like Morgan Glenn's going to come in at goal. She's played in 5 games.
Morgan Glenn came charging off the bench, getting her gear ready.
She's only played in 176 minutes compared to the nearly 1,500 from Crook. So
what a turn of events here.
Big break here for Mobile with a chance to take the lead.
Crook See the emotion overflowing on the sideline as she exits. Meanwhile, a penalty kick. So not only is Morgan Glenn going to have to come into this contest and AUM play the remaining 26-28 with just 10 men, but Morgan Glenn's going to have to try and stop a penalty kick to keep it scoreless here.
Coming in off the bench cold, it's going to be tough.
So Mobile awarded the penalty kick, which in and of itself would have been a reward for Coach Person's bunch. So now, a one-man advantage for the remainder.
You mentioned how the goalies were bundled up. Glenn is just wearing a T-shirt and shorts, so
maybe all she packed, maybe not expecting much action here today. As Mobile set to take this penalty kick. It'll be A. Bear stepping up for this effort here. Biggest moment of this contest. Penalty kick for the Rams. They've scored from the spot several times this season. Here's A. Bear, steps up, sends this one, it's off the post. Second effort, sit high. Came off the post and Compton tried to nail it in the upper left corner. It goes sailing high, and at least for right now, Auburn Montgomery is still alive. Scoreless in this contest.
And the home crowd wakens back up.
Not the best struck PK by A. Bear. And Auburn Montgomery, they're down to 10 men, but they are scoreless still on the scoreboard. What a dramatic turn of events.
She had the goalie full. She just couldn't sneak it in that corner there. And
Morgan Glenn guess left. And a wild sequence here in Montgomery. Here's Compton now, charging in right side of the box. We've seen her work her magic on the left. She sent the rebound high, Tim Wilson. Otherwise, we could be talking about a chance here. Corner kick will be taken by the Rams. That'll be Adrian's in there. She whips it in. First corner kick of the day for the Rams, in fact. And Saskia Adrian's comes back out to her again. She'll take a throw. McCardle unable to clear it. Now an effort here for Dolan. Let's see how aggressive Auburn Montgomery gets. 24 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the ball game. And a scoreless, wild affair. If you just joined us, Auburn Montgomery down to 10 men. Chloe Crook, the senior goalkeeper, had a magnificent afternoon, but an ill-timed challenge led to a red card and a penalty kick.
And now
penalty kick was missed. Here comes a run now down the right flank. It's Adriance again. We mentioned how aggressive will AUM get defensively with just 10 men, but how aggressive will Mobile perhaps now get offensively? At least right now, looks like the Warhawks will continue to drop numbers as they've done. Flag will go up here. This one coming back on an offside. Losert comes in with the late bump, and that may draw a yellow card from our center ref. It was a denial of an obvious goal-scoring chance on the penalty kick, and we won't get a card here. Just a stern cautioning as the gusty winds continue to wreak havoc at the Emory-Fulmar YMCA Soccer Complex. Ball passed along now. Make a run onto this one. Compton, no. Losert with a great effort. We mentioned Losert listed at defender, midfielder, and forward. One of the team's leading goal scorers. But she has been fantastic defensively tonight as well. As this one is knocked around. Compton shown a keen ability to make a run down that right side, or excuse me, down that left side. but unable to corral that one. Looks like Auburn Montgomery's going to settle for a throw-in here.
It's the point where if you're AUM with a man down and a freshman goalkeeper in, you just have to dig deep and see what you have left in you in these last 22 minutes and change.
Here's Ray Mosh. No one home as the junior tried to send one on. Warhawks enjoyed some good chances. A couple opening minutes here in the second half. Mobile started to kind of seize momentum and then really got a stranglehold on the game whenever they had the penalty kick opportunity. They weren't able to cash in, though. So here we are, still scoreless with 22:15 remaining. It is a throw-in for the Rams. And it'll be Scales. Haven't called Scales' name a lot tonight. She sends that one in. Easily cut out by the Warhawks. Here's McCardle. Bumped into, but Mobile able to secure that one. The long ball won't be picked up. Tim, you mentioned it, just 5 appearances this season for Morgan Glenn. He's conceded 2 goals, made 4 saves. Made 1 start on the season. And you got to imagine she never expected she would be thrust into such a big role in this conference tournament. Long ball is going to be picked up by Wynn. And a red card also means Crook will miss our championship match on Saturday if the Warhawks are able to secure a win here. So a really tough turn of events for AUM. Kicking into this Wynn, it's a challenge, and Wynn was unable to get it much more than a couple yards beyond the 18. AUM will enjoy a throw here. Raymosh charging in. She'll take a tumble. 10 on, or excuse me, that was Forstall with the defense there. 20 minutes and 30 seconds left in this pretty entertaining contest. We're scoreless, yes, but we've seen a lot of action. And what was this opening contest? In some harsh conditions. And again, if you just joined us, we're expecting possibly rain later today as well. Wouldn't be a conference tournament here in Montgomery if that weren't the case. We saw that last year. Elements wreaked havoc on a couple of teams. 20 minutes now. Here's a decent looking run. They're trying to link up with Compton. They find her left side. Extra touch from Compton. Will she whip across in? No. Good defense. Julia Losert. It'll be a goal kick. Losert really turning in a man of the match caliber performance for Auburn Montgomery today. She's featured in both their offensive efforts and on their defense. Here's Aumws, sloppily played back to
Could have been a major mistake.
Morgan Glenn, and you're right, Tim, that could have been a disaster. Auburn Montgomery, though, able to shimmy away from danger, at least for the moment. On a blustery day in Montgomery, can the hometown Warhawks come up with some magic? They give it away. Here comes Mobile. They're seeking a deep ball. Charging in, looking to race onto this one is Adriance. There's contact in the box. Hometown crowd wants a foul. Play on, says the official. They're trying to play to Ray Mosh. Can she run onto this one? Just not going to get there. We've seen outstanding defense from the 2 center backs tonight, Spalding and Course. But a giveaway here. Working with this one is Mullen. Shot in the left side corner. Just wide. Michaela Dolan had the lone shot on goal in the first half for Auburn Montgomery. She nearly gave the Warhawks a 1-0 lead.
You wanted to know what AUM would do here with only 10 players. Well, they've decided to stay aggressive.
Great effort in the upper left corner. And Dolan nearly sent this hometown crowd into a frenzy. Dolan gets ahead to this one. Ramash is onside. Let's see what the junior can do here. Loses possession, but she draws the foul. Good effort right there. Spalding commits the foul. And the French national, Lila Ramache, it won't show up for much maybe in the stat sheet, but great job of drawing contact there, allowing the Warhawks to reset and hover over this free kick now. Let's see what the Warhawks dial up. Losert and Ramache conspiring here. Four-man wall is being set as Losert will now run onto it. She'll fire a shot looking to the near post. And there's contact. No call here from the official. Play on as Rebecca Wynn comes in to make that one. There was contact right there from Björklund.
As we mentioned, even
came all the way up from her defender spot to initiate contact with the goalkeeper.
Even easy shots that appear like that are not easy in these conditions because the fans at home hopefully can hear this wind, but it is whipping crazily down on this end.
We mentioned rain coming, but right now piercing winds will have to suffice for the fans brave enough to dare these elements today. 16:30 remaining, still scoreless. Penalty kick missed by the Mobile Rams. That's your main storyline here in the second half. 10 men for Auburn Montgomery as goalkeeper Chloe Crook was sent off. Came racing out, saw her make several sweeping type clearances in the first and early second half, but she was whistled and shown a red midway through this second half. 16 minutes remaining. Now here's a nice looking ball. Can Saskia Adrians run onto it? She does. She had to backtrack to do so. She'll earn a corner. Auburn Montgomery going to have to race back, dropping defenders. Set piece coming here. Adrians will take it. Hand goes up. Here comes the foot. Keeper races out. Good effort right there, Morgan Glenn. Morgan Glenn thrust into action here today after the red card. Great effort from Glenn, the freshman, Millbrook, Alabama native. And there's 15 minutes now remaining. Is there a goal from the run of play possibly here? We've already seen one denied on a penalty kick. Both teams have put together several chances from the run of play, but the penalty kick was our best one today, and it rang off the post. Here's Losert with it, far side. And she'll just clear this one out. No, they're actually going to say last touch by Mobile. Good effort then by Losert to draw an extra throw in. You see the clock here at the Montgomery Soccer Stadium. Shows 14:25 remaining. Good looking ball centered in to Adrians, who's featured more here in the second half. Shot on the way, blocked by shot by Hebert. Good block right there from McCardle. Put her body on the line. We saw it early in the first half, Tim. She had to leave the game briefly with an injury after blocking one shot. She stops a shot there. And you got to wonder if Mobile's got something brewing here now, as Adrians tries to work on the sideline. Emily Larson, we've yet to call her name tonight, but she's had a solid performance of marking Saskia Adrians tonight. Here's Malloy with it. Centered in. Lots of contact. Here comes a shot on the way. Takes a deflection. That was a long-range effort right there.
Off Bjorklund.
Came off the head of Bjorklund, Rachel Forstel. Glenn was able to easily pick that one up.
Mobile's amping up the pressure here.
They are really cranking it up here over the last several minutes. 13-12 remaining in this second half. Still scoreless. Winner moves on to Saturday's championship match. Little individual effort right here. Goes begging from Malloy. She has not had the best of afternoons. But AUM's been pesky defensively. Playing with 10 men now, 12:42 in this contest. After the red card to Chloe Crook. Long ball played, Mobile. Loses possession here, given right back by the Warhawks. About a 2.5-hour drive south to Mobile. Got to imagine some of their fans will be in attendance on Saturday should the Rams scratch out a win in the final 12 minutes of regulation here, perhaps. Good interception, Losert with it, racing now center of the park. She flicks one on, flag stays down, here's Dolan, can she race onto it? No. Rebecca Wynn came charging out, and unlike her goalkeeping counterpart, Chloe Crook, Rebecca Wynn was able to secure the ball and slow down this Warhawk attack that was led by Losert there. Looking like we may have our first substitution of the contest as this one is played long. Honest clears it. Appeals of handball go begging. Still some appeals lingering out there, but play on, says the official. Amy Glenn will check in here in just a moment. Glenn, the London, England native. Correction, that'll be Adama Samura, beg pardon. AUM playing in their hometown, Montgomery. Briefly had my jerseys mixed up there, Tim Wilson.
It's easy to do here when you think they're the home team.
They're playing at home, but they are the designated road team. Montgomery hosting the tournament for a second consecutive year. Fantastic setup here. 10.5 remaining in a thrilling opening matchup on semifinal Thursday. Ball popped in the air. And Mobile, you touched on it a moment ago, has really cranked up the pressure. Run on the far sideline. That one goes out of touch. It'll be a Mobile throw. Should be an opportunity to sub on Samura, the freshman from Canada.
Malloy and Compton just can't seem to get in sync in order to get a good shot there. At that time, Bjorkling again got in the way of it. And so thus far, the defense has been able to hold up for AUM.
Thought that was out. Thought that was out for a throw. Instead, it was a free kick. So no sub just yet. But AUM survives temporarily. Good looking layoff, headed back. Glenn should be able to race out and grab that when she does. Although she makes a go of it with a attacker bearing down on her. Dolan loses that one. And let's see who Samura will sub off. Looks like Samura will come on for Kinzierski.
Number 3, Adama Samura, in for
so Samura comes on.
Madison Kinzierski.
Several Canadian nationals on this roster. Samura, one of those, freshman defender. So interesting choice of tactics here. Subbing on the extra defender. She looks like she's going to nestle in at right back here. Possibly some overlap on a run or two. We'll see. 8:50 remaining. Still scoreless. Both teams have had several dramatic chances, including a penalty kick rung off the post. A. Baird knocked it on the right side post. Rebound from Compton sailed high. Otherwise, we could be talking about a Auburn-Montgomery deficit. Instead, we're scoreless as the rain starts to trickle in. Fans are scrambling for their umbrellas. Here's a long-range shot from Malloy. That one is curling away from goal. And Glenn will come out to corral that one with 8:10 remaining. Morgan Glenn, the freshman, Tim, she's been pretty sharp in net. She has not been tested necessarily, but hasn't looked bad with the few chances she has had to face in backup duty today.
With the exception of the penalty kick, right off the bat, she's done a really good job, and she's been able to, with limited action this season, been able to come in here and play very well. And if you're AUM, you got to be very happy where you're sitting here with 7:44 left to play, tied up at 0.
Yeah, Glenn Guest left. The shot went right, but fortunately for the Warhawks, it rang off the post. Here's Samura, first touch from the freshman. Good-looking ball, centers it. Nice-looking run here now. But a good pickup by McCardle there. As the rain starts to come down here in Montgomery. Is there a goal still here in this? 7:10 remaining. Here's Compton crossing it. No one home for the Rams. Compton has been the focal point on that left wing all afternoon for the University of Mobile. Here's Amura. She'll take a deep throw in. This one sent in. Flicked on. Honest will seal that one off for Glenn, who'll come over and pick it up with 6:32 remaining. Good punt here. Win at the back. That could have been a fantastic long-range effort. But good defense right there from Course, from Mobile to knock that one away. We mentioned the rain, but the wind is still whipping here. 6:01 remaining. As our cameras starting to even take a little rainfall out here today.
We mentioned the weather was not very inviting today. Now add with the wind and 45-degree temperatures, some spitting rain, and makes conditions on the pitch just as bad.
There's contact outside the box. Play on, says our official. Now a decent-looking effort, floating and sailing over the head of Glenn. Forrestal got a left-footed boot to it. And on a day like today, who knows what could have happened. But too much. That's the second shot we've seen in this, third shot now in the second half we've seen sail high for the Rams. Malloy had a really good effort. Maybe the best chance we've had from the run of play all afternoon. And then we saw Compton after the penalty kick miss. Here is Compton, sizing up the defense here. 85th minute. Out to Amura, just subbed on. She whips one in. Dangerous clearance. Warhawks got to be careful. Here's Dolan with it now. Samura and Dolan battling. Long ball played in. Intended for Ramash. Nobody there. Megan Kowalski maybe going to come on here in just a moment. We'll refresh our camera here. We're taking again some rainfall, so we apologize for any viewing impairments here. We do have to give our camera crew a fantastic shout out. They are in the midst of some heavy rains right now. 4:05 remaining as the clouds are opening up here in Montgomery. You can faintly see some sunshine in the distance, but rain is pouring down. Is there a goal still in this contest? Auburn Montgomery is trying to snag a second consecutive upset. They knocked off fourth-seeded Bethel University last week, 1-0 on the road.
How much will these elements play into this last 3.5 minutes?
And in a driving rainstorm, you would think something quirky could be on the radar here. Here's Amura. She'll take a tumble. Ball is still loose. Painfully, Kowalski, who's getting ready to sub on, has to watch it. As this one is now centered. Here's Malloy with it, crossing back over. And we've got an official's timeout. We're going to get a summons here.
Yellow card.
And is that Katie Compton whistled for the yellow?
That's what it appears.
Katie Compton going to be cautioned here, 87th minute. Tough to see right there. Correction, that was on Malloy. Both Malloy and Compton were in the area. Compton actually was conferencing with the official, so it looked like she might have been the one to receive the yellow. Instead, it was Tyler Ray Malloy. Substitution is made. Kowalski finally comes on. Dahlin comes scampering off, and she also is favoring her right shin. She immediately discards her shin guard. And she'll get some relief here. 2:45 remaining. Feverishly attempting to restore our camera access with you guys. But again, we're in the midst of a driving rainstorm here in Montgomery, Alabama. Here's Amora with it. Let's see if she joins the attack. Good looking ball. She runs onto it. Great cross. Malloy slid down. Otherwise, that could have been a fantastic goal scoring opportunity. Samora, beg pardon. With a great effort and a cross with 2:05 remaining. Adama Samora playing that right back role. She came flying in. Here's an L. Good looking effort. AUM frantically trying to force extra time here. And Samora with a great seal off there. Possession maintained. 89th minute. Good run here, floating in. Malloy was lurking on the back post. Aumws was there to knock that one away. Now here comes a run. Fresh legs for Kowalski. And she's unable to latch onto that one. 1:15 remaining. Lots of contact. A lot of jawing right there. Both players are going at it. Here we go again. We've got a great battle. It's Forrestal and Hagan going at it as we tick under 1 minute. Tim Wilson, you know you're going to be treated to some, you mentioned boxing earlier. We were close to some fisticuffs there.
Yeah, both young ladies getting after it.
Looked like Hagan's shirt may have been ripped, in fact, in that exchange. 36 seconds now. We'll have two 10-minute golden goal periods of overtime. If there's no goal here in the next 27 seconds. Mobile, as Malloy comes, or excuse me, Glenn comes racing out for that one. 15 seconds. There's one final corner kick. Adrians comes in. 7 seconds, 6. The kick is away with 4. Here's a back header with 2 seconds. It'll be cleared away by Ramash, and 90 minutes. Not enough to decide a winner. We will head to overtime here in Montgomery. Scoreless after 90 minutes. Tim Wilson, both teams with chances. We saw a penalty kick miss from Mobile. But on a day where it's cold and nasty and windy, it's only fitting that we see zeros on the scoreboard after 90 minutes.
Yeah, first game of the day will go extra. And as you mentioned, playing a woman down will be AUM, but they have stayed gritty. They've stayed after it, and just a great play, a good break by the goal, the shot on goal that hit the goal post, and that's why we're going to go to some extra time here.
Headed to some extra time. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll get you prepped for our 1, possibly 2, possibly penalty kicks of golden goal overtime. On the other side of this break, you are listening and watching the Southern States Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Championship here on SSAC Sports Network.
Moose Eatery, DoubleTree Inn.
we welcome you back in. Rain still trickling down, but nowhere near the deluge that we had a couple of moments ago, Tim Wilson, as we are prepped for extra time. Only fitting that our first game on semifinal Thursday should go into extra time. It's scoreless here at the Emory-Fulmar YMCA Soccer Complex between the top-seeded Mobile Rams and the fifth-seeded Auburn Montgomery Warhawks.
Mobile came through this season undefeated in conference play, Wade, but AUM is not ready to give up just yet here, and playing with only 10 players, they've been able to survive. In the 63rd minute, the goalkeeper was Chloe Crook was red carded, and so from then on they've had to go with a freshman, and she's done a fine job after they missed the penalty kick. She's played very focused, and right now, looking at the stat sheet, 3 shots on goal for both teams, a whole lot more shots for Mobile, but both teams playing pretty much even. And it's going to be interesting. As we mentioned, we had a little sail of rain come through here, just enough to get the field nice and wet. And we'll see how both teams adjust to that. But going to get a little extra free soccer here.
A little bonus soccer here at the Emory-Fulmar. We've seen it over the years, both in conference and national tournaments. A lot of these fixtures do go into extra time. Rebecca Wynn played all 90 minutes, made 3 saves. We mentioned Chloe Crook, she saw a red card in the 64th. She had 3 saves. Morgan Glenn did a great job in her 27 minutes of work, but did not have to register a save. 14-5 was your shot count, and in terms of corner kicks, pretty even. Mobile took all 3 of theirs in the second half. Auburn Montgomery took both of theirs in the first. 3-2 as the rain has subsided here, and we believe we're off for the rest. We're going to knock on wood as we say this, but I think the rain may miss us for at least the remainder of this contest.
So William Carey and Martin Methodist will have to just wait a few extra minutes here, as we're going to have an extra period here on tap.
10 minutes of gold and goal soccer. First to score wins. At the end of that 10, we'll load it up and do it again. 10 more minutes, so 20 scheduled minutes perhaps. Penalty kicks possibly looming. A cruel fate if no one can put together a goal here. But we are underway. Auburn Montgomery, they'll attack left to right like they did the second half here in this first extra period. Black uniforms with white lettering for the hometown Warhawks. They are the designated visitors with their 5th seed. Here's a ball played into Malloy. Long run made for and eventually secured by Glenn as an acrobatic move right there by Malloy, possibly to steal a goal.
She wasn't sure exactly what she wanted to do with that, whether kick it out or grab it. Luckily, she grabbed it at the last minute.
Here's Ray Mosh. Nice little 1-2 here. She sends it back on. Touching with it now is Presser. Floating down that right flank. Mobile able to knock this one away. Centering now to Course. And now 8:50 remaining here. 10 minutes may not seem like a lot, but be surprised at the number of games that are decided in overtime or extra time. Especially at this conference tournament. We've seen some magic from many a teams over the year here. Including Auburn Montgomery last year, the men's side. A couple of penalty kick shootouts and several overtime clashes. Warhawks have it in their own third here. There's Ray Mosh. We've seen her drop back. She's in a perfect world playing up top, but she's done a great job of coming back and collecting possession. Maintains it here for the Warhawks. If you just joined us, penalty kick was missed by the Rams in the 64th minute. Follow-up shot was also missed. Otherwise, we could be talking about Mobile and who would meet them in the championship Saturday. Some action on the AUM sideline.
It's Bassau, I believe.
Leah Bassow possibly set to return to this contest. We saw her leave with a shin injury earlier. This pass dropped back. No one home for the Warhawks. Knocked out a touch by AUM. Here's a good-looking run by who else? Losert. Julia Losert. And now we've got contact foul going to be called against Savannah Rommel. Hometown Warhawk fans let out a cheer. With 6:43 remaining. This will be Aumws standing over this one. Stephanie Rodriguez Aumws. She sends it deep. Remash able to collect it. Shot on the way. Did that take a deflection? Tough to tell, but it won't matter as Wynn able to secure it. Long range effort right there from McCardle.
Compton couldn't handle it. Goes out of bounds.
So let's see if there's a substitution here.
I believe Bassow is coming back into the contest.
Bassow is going to replace Kowalski.
Injury,
That was the substitution
number 5,
just at the end of
Leah Bassow,
regulation.
replacing number 11.
So Bassow
Megan
comes
Kowalski.
back in. She'll slip on that left side wing. AUM, let's see how they work here. Remember, AUM playing with 10 men. 64th minute, not only a penalty kick, but it was a red card. Bassow flipped along to Ramash. This one will be cleared away. And AUM able to hang on for this several moments here. Back to the center now. Ramash playing a much more focal point offensively here in the overtime session. Midway through this overtime period. Long ball played on for Malloy. The flag was down. She had to come back and retrieve that one. Sends it over to Bear, who missed the penalty kick in the 64th. Now played along. Adriance. Long run being made by Samura. Kept it in, but not much else doing for Mobile. Kind of a toothless attack here in the overtime session for Mobile. Good punt. Wind has died down a little bit more here now as Glenn was able to punch that one along. 4:30 now. As Scales, tough clearance right there. Malloy secure. With 4:15 now. Mobile, are they maybe lulling Auburn Montgomery to sleep here? Good pass out of the back up ahead. But sloppily played right there for Rommel. And Tim, we're in the second half of this first overtime period now, already down to 3:45 remaining. Auburn Montgomery's been the more aggressive side, and they're playing with 10 men.
Yeah, it seems like Mobile's just playing a little tentative right now, but
remember, next goal wins. This game will either end in a 0-0 draw with penalties deciding the winner, or will it be 1-0?
sometimes in overtime you can get a little tentative trying to play not to lose rather than to win, and sometimes that can come back to haunt you.
Good punt right here from Glenn, intended for Ramash. Loses the header. Coming up on 3:10 remaining now. Auburn Montgomery, you've got to tip your cap to the Warhawks. They have played fantastic defense against one of the top offenses in the Southern States. Long overlapping run on that left side for Bassow. Now laid off to Losert. And those two unable to maintain possession. Seconds dwindling off here. And the foul going to go against Mobile. Down to 2:35 remaining. Might we see one last spring forward for the Warhawks? You don't want to leave yourself exposed on a counterattack. Already, Tim, AUM assured, if nothing else, than a better result between the last outing between these two teams, 2-0 for Mobile. That was a regular season affair, however. This is a much different ball game in the sense that the loser, their conference tournament run will come to a close. Under 2 minutes now. Lots of space. Rommel. Another sloppy touch. It goes straight to Losert, who's able to pass that one along. Losert now turns it right back. 100 seconds now remaining. As this is Compton. Compton's had several attacking chances today. Let's see if there's one more. They play it towards her. Losert able to sweep that one up. Now it's Rommel. Rommel's becoming involved a little bit. Turned by Malloy. Laid off for a shot. And that one never really had a chance from Scales. Gathered rather easily with 1:14 remaining. Good punt for Glenn. Too strong, in fact, Tim. No one was there to collect that chance.
Yeah, and Mobile will be back on the offensive here, but with 60 seconds left to play, we'll see if anybody tries to be aggressive here.
Long run, Losert. We've seen her get aggressive. Definitely touched on to Ramash. Flag is up. She was offside. Crowd is incensed. But the junior Ramash looked like a decently timed run, but assistant referee says that one was off. Good run by Compton on the other end. It was cut out, though, by Losert. Now this long ball played in. Slipped behind Malloy. Honest trying to seal. Malloy shot on.
There was a little bit of contact there.
There was contact in the box. There will be no foul, but Malloy, reminder, she was already sitting on a yellow.
That's a red.
And that'll be a red card.
So we're going to be even, it looks like.
Tyler Ray Malloy, who was sitting on a yellow, upset with the official.
And that's a big call as well.
And that will be a terrible mistake from one of the league's best players. Sophomore forward from St. Albert, Alberta, Canada.
She'll have to sit out the next game as well if they play on. And we mentioned how they're already automatically in the national tournament. So if they were to be eliminated today, I'm assuming she's going to have to sit out the first round of the national tournament.
That is correct.
A big red card there.
In the 9th minute of extra time, Tyler Ray Malloy was jostled in the box.
And that free kick.
As this kick sails out of bounds, AUM may be in danger here. 8 seconds. One final chance perhaps for the Rams. Here's Compton. She sends it down over to Rommel. Rommel making a run, and it'll be knocked away. 100 minutes, not enough to decide a winner. We head to our second overtime period, 10 men apiece. And Tyler Ray Malloy
second 10-minute overtime.
will have to watch from the sideline as we head to the second overtime period. Still scoreless here in Montgomery. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have the call of the second period. You're listening and watching the Southern States Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Championship here on the SSAC Sports Network on YouTube.
Nukes Eatery, Doubletree Inn.
Dreamland, Nukes, Doubletree, the City of Montgomery.
And Musco. And
Musco
also
Lighting.
Thanks to the YMCA.
And some others are fine sponsors of this Southern States Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Championship. Also our Men's Championship, semifinal Thursday set to continue. Martin Methodist and Mobile will kick off the men's action at 4:30. Tim Wilson has departed us. He'll rejoin us later today, but right now Hunter Lee has joined us. Hunter, thank you for filling in. Pretty entertaining contest. Both teams are down to 10 men. Starting goalkeeper out for Auburn Montgomery. Top forward, Tyler Ray Malloy, just saw a red card a moment ago for Mobile.
Yeah, glad to join you here, Wade, for this second overtime period here.
To set the stage, 10 minutes to decide a winner. If there is no goal in this remaining 10 minutes, we will head to penalty kicks. It'll be Mobile taking over with possession here. And let's see how aggressive the Rams get now. They're without one of their top forwards. Penalty kicks is a tough way to decide any contest, let alone a tournament semifinal. But that's the reality here for both of these teams. 9:39 remaining. Both teams had several great chances in regulation. Neither was able to cash in. We saw the red card from starting goalkeeper Chloe Crook in the 64th minute. That led to a penalty kick, which was off the post. And then just seconds before it's the second overtime, we saw a red card from Malloy. Here's a turnover. Auburn Montgomery with the ball now.
That was Krista Hagan up there.
Hagan's
attacking for the Warhawks.
Hagan's been quietly performing very well today for Auburn Montgomery. Working with it on that far side. Nearly wins it, and she will win it. So we've seen Hagan not only quality defense, but now pushing forward offensively for AUM.
Warhawks look like they're having a few defenders stay back here close to the midline on that throw-in.
And this will lead to a foul on that far side, as Losert, I believe, was able to draw the foul. 8:30 remaining. We've seen some of AUM's best play come off of set pieces. Let's see what Rodriguez Anes will come up with here. Good looking ball into the box. Remash was intended.
Leah Course was the one deflecting that one away.
Good effort from the center back. Flag stays down. Remash gets a settle on it, but it just trickles forward. Wynn able to charge out and secure possession. Hunter, the wind has died down considerably as well here now. First half, it was wreaking havoc. Second half and now into the extra time, it slowly began to not play as much of a factor. And this one will be rolled all the way back. Winner of this game moves on to the championship contest on Saturday. First of two championship soccer contests on Saturday. Also, we'll hand out a volleyball title on Saturday as well.
Ramash too short right there, missed a flick on.
You got to wonder if Mobile isn't a little bit shell-shocked after a second yellow resulted in a red for Tyler Ray Malloy.
I know, as we mentioned earlier, the Warhawks a little upset-minded here. Looking to advance, Mobile will be in the national tournament regardless of this result. So
Rams are hosting down in Orange Beach. So Malloy will have to serve a one-match ban. Whether that one-match ban will come Saturday in the Southern States title game or whether it come in the national tournament, that's still to be determined. 6:40 remaining, scoreless contest. This is Samura. There'll be a foul throw on Samura. Miscue right there from Adama Samura, the freshman. She's from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And you got to wonder what's going through both of these coaches' minds right now. 6:10 remaining from penalty kicks, which is essentially a crapshoot.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go out on penalty kicks in any situation, Wade.
But in this second overtime period, it's been Auburn Montgomery. They've been the more aggressive side here. Long throw in. Ramash the intended target. It was short. Coming over, knocking that one out, Forrestal.
And she'll do it again, Wade. No.
They're going to say last touch by Lila Ramash. Forrestal was over the shoulder. But Mobile has yet to really put together any sort of a attack in this second extra period. Creeping up on the midway mark. 5:15 now remaining. Mobile entering this contest. They're the 8th ranked team in the NAI. 2nd ranked William Carey will meet 11th ranked Martin Methodist in our next semifinal shortly after the conclusion of this contest. But right now, AUM thinking upset. Long ball played to Ramash. Flag is down, and it's just too much. Did the wind carry that one? Possibly. Lila Ramash with a great run. Just couldn't settle it down. Wind did a fantastic job of sprinting out and tidying it up. 4.5 remaining as there's a foul called on the far sideline. Four shots on goal from Mobile, 3 for Auburn Montgomery. But a 3-goal corner kick advantage for AUM. Here's Aumws trying to send it on. Back down to Samura. She'll play it into the center. Kind of a risky play defensively. AUM able to cut that extra pass out. So this could be an interesting chess match in the event of penalties. Has Bassau with it. Nice run here. She trying to link up with Ramash. That one's cut out.
A little bit too hard there for Ramash to get to.
Interesting matchup possibly looming. You have the starting goalkeeper out for Auburn Montgomery, but you have the starting striker, Tyler Ray Malloy, out for Mobile. Both sitting on with red cards.
Yeah, whichever team here advances is going to be at a disadvantage on Saturday in the championship match, whether it be on the defensive end or the offensive end.
3 minutes now. Here's Compton, who has shifted into that kind of central striker role, if only briefly. She now swings back out to the left. Here's Besso with it. Good looking ball into the center. Trying to make a run was Presser. And now, here comes Losert. Losert charging. Tried to center that one. Knocked away. Good defensive effort by Forrestal. They say last touched by Mobile. 2:27 remaining. From the cruelest of fates, penalty kicks.
Got another AUM throw-in.
AUM's racking up the throw-ins here, but they're unable to capitalize.
Losert's all over the field, Wade.
We've seen Losert, again, she's listed at all 3 positions, defender, midfielder, forward. And she's played all 3 in some facet this afternoon.
And another AUM throw-in here, Wade.
Yep, this will be Larson tossing it in. 100 seconds now. And we're going to have a whistle. It'll be Adriance receiving a talking to. Intended for Ramash. Ramash drugged down just outside the box. Forrestal with the tackle as we are up to 1:15. Set piece opportunity here for Rodriguez Aumws. Is there some Montgomery magic here for these Warhawks with 1:05 now? Here it comes. Good-looking ball intended right toward the box.
That was
Appeals
Bjorklund.
and cries of handball. No, here comes Losert trying to cross this one in. It sails high. That's the second time AUM has appealed for a handball in the box. Both have been denied. And we are under 1 minute, down to 40 seconds.
That last free kick had some movement on it, didn't it, Wade?
Probably the most pace we've seen on a ball this afternoon. As this one swished along. I think both teams may be resigned to their fates right now. Looks like we're headed toward a penalty kick shootout. Down to 13.
You have to think Mobile will have the advantage in the penalty kicks if we get to there.
And
Obviously.
5 seconds, and we are headed toward a penalty kick shootout. 110 minutes, not enough to decide a winner today. We'll determine it
That's the end of the second overtime.
via penalties. Auburn Montgomery will be without their starting goalkeeper, Chloe Crook. But University of Mobile will be without arguably their best striker, Tyler Ray Malloy, both sitting with red cards. We'll have the penalty kick shootout call when we come back in just a moment. You're listening and watching the Southern States Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Championship on the SSAC Sports Network on YouTube. Penalty kick shootout moments away. Rough way to decide who advances to Saturday's championship match, but that's the scenario. Auburn Montgomery seeking a second consecutive upset here in this conference tournament. The 5th seeded Warhawks played top seed Mobile to a scoreless draw. And Hunter Lee, alongside yours truly, Wade Neely, we're going to determine this winner via a penalty kick shootout. AUM familiar with penalty kick shootouts on the men's side, no doubt, but the women getting a taste of the medicine here today. Rules are simple. Both teams will set up 5 designated shooters. We will alternate kicks through those 5 rounds, and at the end of 5, or if one team clearly has an advantage before the 5, a winner will be determined. If not, we'll go 1-for-1 sudden death style for the remaining kicks. So in case you needed further drama, Auburn Montgomery without its starting goalkeeper. Chloe Crook shown a red card in the 64th minute. Tyler Ray Malloy, arguably the top striker for Mobile showing a red card, just seconds to spare in the first extra time period.
Yeah, Morgan Glenn did a good job of coming in and replacing Crook. Just going to need to be confident here in this shootout. She showed some confidence, though, coming off the bench cold, although there was a missed penalty.
Glenn misguessed, if you will, misjudged the direction of the first penalty she saw, which came in regulation. It was rattled off the post. But this, a much different scenario here. 5 penalty kicks coming up.
Yeah, you got Leah Course stepping up to take the first one from Mobile.
We were told she might take the first one, and she does. Strong defensive effort for Leah Course. And so the sophomore
First kicker
from
for
Edmonton, Alberta,
University of
Canada,
Mobile, number 15,
will
Leah
step up.
Course.
She's got 2 goals on the year. And Morgan Glenn set to possibly make a stop. First kick of our penalty kick shootout here. Course goes right. Great penalty.
Glenn guessed right.
1-0. Favoring Mobile. You were right, Hunter.
First kicker
Morgan
for
Glenn with a
AUM.
great sense of direction. That
Number
was just
15,
a beautifully
Kendall
struck
McCarty.
penalty kick. So a goal for number 15, Leah Course. Now can Auburn Montgomery's number 15, Kendall McCardle, will step to the spot. This will be Rebecca Wynn.
Rebecca Wynn looking to give Mobile the advantage here after the
Wynn.
first round.
Wynn bouncing, 1-0. Mobile leads. Kick on the way, great penalty!
After
Tim
one.
Howard was not going to stop that one. In the
Mobile,
upper right
1-1.
corner, beautifully struck penalty by Kendall McCardle, who put her body on the line with a great
Number 10,
defensive
Rachel
clearance in the
Forfell,
first half.
to kick for Mobile.
She ties us at 1 goal apiece here in the penalty kick shootout.
Be Rachel Forrestal here from Mobile.
Forrestal, another defensive player taking a penalty kick here. She'll step to the spot. And another beautifully struck penalty, almost a mirror image of the one that Course took a moment ago.
Both of
Man.
those for Mobile looked like Glenn had a chance to deflect them. Just not able to get a glove on
number
him.
12, to shoot for
Here's
AUM.
Leela Ramash, calmly walking toward the mark.
Obviously, Ramash, the leading goal scorer for the Warhawks.
Looking to draw level here. 2-1, Mobile leads. Ramash standing top of the 18. Run on the way, it's off the crossbar.
After 2 shooters,
Just a bit high
Mobile
for the
2,
junior.
AUM 1.
And Mobile with a chance to capitalize. They lead 2-1. Ramash can't believe it. Looked like she was just back in her
For
shot
Mobile.
ever so slightly. Tried to go top left corner.
Number 9, Kayla Abear.
And now Kayla Abear can really tighten the grip here for Mobile. They lead 2-1.
Abear probably looking for a little redemption here after missing that penalty in the first half.
Abear steps to the line. Here she comes on the penalty. It's saved! Great save by Morgan Glenn. Morgan Glenn atones for the missed direction on the penalty,
To kick for AUM.
In
number 18,
regulation.
Courtney Presser.
and we stay 2-1. A chance now for Courtney Presser to make it 2-2.
Yeah, Glenn switched up her defense there and went right for the first time in this shootout. Actually, the first time today.
Here's Presser, and she sails it high. Courtney
After 2
Presser.
shooters, Mobile 2, AUM 1.
Nerves maybe settling in there as the freshman sailed one high. It was a good-looking kick, great pace, just too high.
Kicking number 14, Rebecca Spalding for Mobile.
So 2-1 as we enter round 4. Spalding will step to the line.
Another defender.
2 defenders have scored for Mobile. It's the 3rd time. Going to be the one here. This would make it 3-1 and put AUM into a must-make situation. And it's in. Great looking shot, and the pressure now squarely back on the Warhawks as that one snuck in just
Kicking for
underneath the
AUM, number 6,
crossbar.
Emily Larson.
Clipped the top of the netting there. And now Emily Larson. Emil Larson will step in. Must make situation for Larson. Can the Warhawks stay alive? Shot is on the way and coolly and calmly collected.
After 4 shooters, Mobile
Emily Larson.
3, AUM 2.
Cold-blooded finish there.
Textbook finish by the Norwegian national. Now sprinting to the spot essentially was Katie Compton. She has a chance to send
Number
Mobile
12, Katie Compton to kick for Mobile.
to the SSAC title game on Saturday. Morgan Glenn must make a save or Compton must miss this to stay alive. Compton just coolly standing over the ball. And it's off the crossbar! AUM needed a little bit of magic.
Number
they
10,
stay alive.
Stephanie Ames for AUM.
And now Stephanie Rodriguez-Anis will step up. A make here, and we will advance to that sudden death portion of the shootout. And Anis, who laid her body on the line with several big blocks in the first and second half. Here she comes to keep AUM alive. It's in.
After 5 kickers, Mobile 3, AUM 3.
3-3. Both teams with a couple of misses. And now we will head to a sudden death portion. This is make for make. Scales will try it out now. Anna Caroline Scales, 3 goals on the
Number
year.
19, Anna Caroline Scales kicking for Mobile.
Talk about a pressure cooker here. Scales probably not expecting to shoot, but here she is. Wind at her back. Scales steps up, slots it home.
Another diving left Glenn there. Looked like she had another opportunity to get a glove on the
For AUM number
penalty
20,
there.
And now
Ida Birkland.
Björklund will step up. Björklund must make to keep us in penalties here. A miss, and the season will end for the Warhawks. Björklund over the ball. Good shot, good goal.
She buries it away.
Great guess
Mobile 4,
by
AUM
Wynn, the
4.
goalkeeper, but a very well struck penalty. Both keepers have guessed right on several occasions with diving to the left, but they've been unable to make the
Kicking
saves.
for Mobile, number 16, Elisa Chamberlain.
So Elisa Chamberlain will step up. She was not a major factor in the contest during regulation or extra time. She steps up and buries that one. Tough guess right there for Morgan Glenn.
Kicking for AUM, number 14, Krista
Chamberlain,
Hagan.
how about the effort there, coming right off the pine and stepping up and drilling that one. Sends Krista Hagan to the spot. Again, this is sudden death. Hagan must make if the Warhawks are to stay alive here. If not, Mobile will be in our championship contest Saturday. Hagan, good looking run up,
What else do you expect, Wade?
and she slots it home. At this rate, we will be here till 8:30 tonight. Both teams are converting with some well-struck penalties.
Now kicking number 25, Morgan Littlewood for Mobile.
Littlewood will now trot out. Morgan Littlewood. We're getting into some players that we did not call during the first portion of this contest. Littlewood. Mobile is converted. both of their sudden death kicks, and they convert a third. Littlewood just with a beautifully struck ball just floating into the upper left corner.
It's a high curling kick there.
Now, Leah Bassow.
Bassow for AUM.
Bassow played
Number
a
5.
terrific contest. Came off for just a couple of minutes with a lower leg injury, but she's back out and looking to give AUM more life here. Must make here. Bassow steps up. It's made. Not sure what Wynn was guessing right there, but Wynn was kind of mystified right there as the ball just went cruising past her, and we head to a 4th sudden death round. We've had 9 penalty kick takers after this round.
Yeah, Bassow's shot there took a couple hops before even crossing the line. Wynn looked like she probably could have gotten boot on it if she had just stuck her foot out.
So now Mobile. This will be Kelsey Pope stepping up. Kelsey Pope appeared in 4 games this year, folks, prior to this penalty kick. Pope stepping up. Great penalty. Fantastic save effort. But another well-struck penalty.
The way Morgan Glenn dove there, you would think if she had done that a little bit
first.
earlier, she maybe would have stopped a couple. We wouldn't be in this situation here, Wade.
Now can Julia Losert step up? Junior, who has done so much this afternoon, looking to extend this contest. Losert, shot good. Losert just drilled it into the back of the net. And one of the longest penalty kick shootouts I can recall seeing continues. Both teams just refusing to go away here.
Number 8, Saskia Adrian.
Saskia Adrians now will step up. Adrians took on a much bigger role in the second half and in the extra periods offensively for Mobile. Can she keep them ahead here in the 5th round of sudden death? And she does. Fingertip looked like got to that one from Morgan Glenn, but Adrian's had too much power on it. The ball trickles into the back of the net. And Mobile has been perfect, 5 for 5 in the second half of this shootout.
Yeah, well, it looked like Glenn just barely got her finger on it. Wasn't able to direct it in a way away from the net. Left Caroline Booth stepping up for AUM here.
So Booth now to keep us going. She does. Booth.
Of course she does, Wade, of course.
Great speed and pace on that shot. Booth comes sprinting back. Caroline Booth did not score a goal in the regular season. And now, this is an interesting dilemma because now we're going to rotate back to the starting point. We've exhausted all of our penalty shooters here.
It's unbelievable, Wade.
Leah Korsbeck will step to the spot. She was successful on her first penalty kick.
You would wonder if seeing a shooter once before gives the goalkeeper an advantage.
Very rarely do you see something like this, but
get a chance to learn the tendencies of the shooters here.
This has been a crazy shootout. Kick on the way. The shot good.
She puts it right where she put it the first round, Wade.
Actually, in fact, just a little bit further
For
inside.
number 15, Kendall McCardle.
Kendall McCardle will now step up. So both teams rolling back through. McCardle had a beautifully struck ball in the upper right corner on her first attempt. Let's see if she matches here. She goes the same way. It's blocked. Off the top of the crossbar and down. It's out.
The Mobile Rams move on to
and
the
the Mobile Rams
Saturday morning championship
advance in an epic shootout here at the Emory Fulmar YMCA Soccer Complex. The shot looked like it maybe took a tip bounced off the top of the crossbar, came down, but did not cross the goal line. And a marathon shootout performance will go in favor of the Mobile Rams. They win it in the shootout. One of the wilder finishes I think I've ever seen to a soccer game, Hunter Lee.
Yeah, Wade, just a bad bounce off the bottom of the crossbar there. And like you said, it may have been tipped and possibly could have helped McCardle there to at least give it a shot to go in, but off the rebound came down and it won't go.
Tough break for AUM. They played fantastically this afternoon, as did Mobile. There was a reason we had to go deep into a penalty kick shootout to determine a winner today. That's because both teams absolutely laid it on the line here this afternoon in Montgomery. We're going to conclude our broadcast here. We hope you'll stick around for the second of our semifinal women's soccer matchups here. It'll be number 2 seed William Carey taking on number 3 seed Martin Methodist. You can find that link on our website, ssacsports.com. For Hunter Lee, for Tim Wilson, I'm Wade Neely signing out. Again, 0-0 your score, but Mobile punches their ticket to Saturday's final in the penalty kick shootout. We'll see you on the other call here in just a moment on the SSAC Sports Network on YouTube.